best club ever. This is what my dear friend Sonny said to me across the room about 2 months after she started Toastmasters. She had just had one of those great days where you just give a great speech and then you get an evaluation. Anyone had like a great day of speaking? You get this evaluation that's both super supportive and then tells you exactly what you need to do the next time to make it better. Yes? You've had those great speeches?
Yes.
Yeah, and she looked across the room at me and she said, best club ever. Because 2 months earlier, when I was talking her into coming to Toastmasters, I used that phrase. Now, my name is Amanda. I'm part of Noonshiners, and what you need to know about me is that in my day job, I am a marketing coach. And as a marketing coach, I get a little reputation sometimes for, I don't know, maybe a little bit of hype, a little, for promising or something like that. But really the only words I could think of to describe Toastmasters was, you gotta come, Sonny. It's the best club ever. And I actually wasn't talking about the best Toastmasters club among all the other Toastmasters clubs. Because we have amazing clubs in this district. Amazing clubs, as you see here today, yes?
Yes.
So I'm not talking about competing with each other. I'm talking about Toastmasters is the best club of any club you could ever be a part of, ever. Yeah! It really is. Yeah, out of all the clubs I've been a part of, dinner clubs, book clubs, travel clubs, church clubs, don't tell anybody. Toastmasters is where I go to get the best kind of professional support, personal support. I'm sharing my own voice in the room almost every week in some way. Toastmasters can be the best club anyone's ever been a part of, ever! Ever! So who is here to create their club to be the best club someone has ever been in, ever?
Oh yeah!
Yes! And who would rather inspire that with that fire?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Rather than nag and remind and cajole and hype, marketing hype it up. We want to know how to inspire that. Because one, it's way easier as a leader to just turn someone else on and let them go on their own fuel than to be constantly using your fuel to cajole them, as I like to say. So I have discovered that there are about 3 ingredients for this to really happen. And you're going to get my perspective today. The first ingredient is so important. It's to find out why. Find out their why. You guys have heard this before. Start with why, yes? And what I have seen is that there are some clubs that create this culture of feeding that why, feeding the dream that someone comes in with. Because you might want to open yourself up to be surprised about why someone is really in Toastmasters. I think Toastmasters has a reputation of it's for people who want to get over their fear of public speaking, right? That's like the common why you could assume that everyone is there for. But personally, my background is I was a camp counselor for a long time. And so I got away with getting a lot of kids to do what I wanted by just being the biggest and the loudest and the tallest person in the room, right? And I can move kids to do what I need them to do by just being like an extrovert. But actually, my reason for joining Toastmasters, my first speech was called No More Extrovert. Because I know, this is the face I just got. What? It's not always good to be an extrovert? What? Mind-blowing. But it's true, because I noticed in my marketing career that you can't just be the biggest and the loudest. You actually have to move people. I joined Toastmasters to touch someone and move them to change their own life. So you might be surprised why someone is in Toastmasters. I wrote down a few of the whys that I found just in my own club, just in Moonshiners. These are all the different whys that people are in. Not all of them, but a few. Want to start a business. Very important. Want to be on Shark Tank. Very cool. Want to save domestic violence victims. Big deal. Want to be able to give kinder but effective feedback at work. Yeah. And we even have someone in our club, would you believe it, that joined Toastmasters in order to give a toast. Do people do that still? Does people join to give toasts at Toastmasters? Yes, they do. Right in my club. I found that communication is so important. So my why when I started is to really put some care and craft into my communication, because I get a little lazy with the big and loud thing. And in fact, very early on in my marketing career, I was teaching feminine presence, how to be feminine and powerful at the same time. And I met this woman, her name was Rachel, and I just thought she was just the most wonderful beauty. She was a dancer, she was so elegant, and I was like, oh, she is perfect for being in my class, in my circle. I would love to have her around all the other women I'm teaching. So I take her out to coffee and I say this to her, oh my gosh, Rachel, you have to be in my class. It'd be so wonderful. And she's like, okay, I'll think about it. I was like, okay, Rachel, now we have this bond and she's going to be in my class. It's going to be wonderful. Well, Rachel proceeded to give me the, not just cold shoulder, but like freezing me out for a couple of weeks after that. I was like, what happened? Something happened in that coffee that I don't know happened. In fact, one time I was leaving her class. She had a little get-together. I'm leaving, and this other couple is leaving with me, and the other couple says, bye, Rachel. And she goes, bye! Oh my gosh, see you later! Can't wait to see you next week! Okay, have a great time, thanks for coming! And then I go, bye! And she goes, bye! It's like, what did I do? And I realized that when I had invited her to my class, she had thought that I was saying, oh my gosh, you are not feminine at all. You need to get more powerful. You are not elegant. You need training. You need my class, and you better get in it before your whole business falls apart. The total opposite of the compliment I was trying to deliver. She heard it as a, insult, basically, to her. So I realized very quickly that my communication could get better. Anybody else? Ever have those moments where like, maybe put a little more care and craftsmanship into that message. And that's where I started. But I think it's really important when you're talking to your club members, and if you create this culture of why, to keep asking along the way. Because about 6 months later, my why changed. I got in because I wanted to tone down the extroversion and really touch people. But about 6 months later, I was in a contest, and it was really fun because I won the first level and I got a little trophy, and I won the second level and I got a little trophy, and I won the third level and I got a trophy. And I had suddenly this huge audience that I was speaking to. It was amazing. And the fourth level, I'm all ready to go. People are telling me, you're going to just win the whole thing, a world championship. And I did my speech, and I didn't win a trophy that time. I'm still mad about that. But what happened after that speech was a woman came up. I'm like totally in the buzz after I gave my speech. I'm on my way to my seat. And she came up and she pressed this piece of paper into my hand. Little yellow piece of paper. I get back to my seat and it says, Amanda, whether you win or not, I want you to know you inspired me. You changed my thinking. And you touched at least this one person. And I hope you know how valuable that is. Thank you and good luck, Amy. better trophy right here than any of those other trophies I have. And my why that I'm in Toastmaster totally changed. And I stopped worrying about the masses, and I started worrying about that one person. That's the phrase she used, that one person. So maybe there's one person in this room today that I can reach. That's enough. It's too much pressure to teach everybody. Reach everybody, right? I'm going for that one person that really needs to hear it. So I want to give you a second to think about your why. I'm just going to give you 20 seconds to think about your current why. Not why you joined. Why are you here today? You're not just a member anymore. Y'all are officers. This must mean something to you. You're investing time on a Saturday morning. Why? What is so important about Toastmasters? Got it? I'd love for you to share with your neighbor your why. Just tell them, why are you here? Either from themselves or from their partner. Who was a little bit surprised? Yeah, you want to share?
Oh, I guess it's funny. I'm a great presenter and storyteller, but I'm a crappy communicator.
Ooh! Thank you for sharing that with us.
Because of what you were saying. And what's funny is that I didn't get to tell it.
You should stay in Toastmasters. Thank you.
This must be the right reason.
Yes, there's a reason. I gotta go to Toastmasters. I've got to become a better communicator. That's so great. That's so great. And you ladies have one back here.
Oh, I was just surprised that she came because she wanted to hang out with me.
Wanted to hang out with me, right?
I was surprised she came because she wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah! Who likes some of the members of their Toastmasters meeting and goes to hang out sometimes? Yes! Yes! Because you're having a bad day, and Toastmasters is that place where everybody knows your name, right? Right. Because you got your name tag on. That's awesome. That is awesome. That why and creating that culture of why can be so important. So for your extra credit, you all did amazing. You all just got an A+. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for digging deep. Yes. And for your extra credit assignment is the next time you hear somebody speaking with passion about something, ask them, you know, it sounds like you really care about this. Why is it so important to you? And don't ask them like this, you know, why do you care about that? But wow, you seem like you really care about this. Why is it so important? If you can get extra credit, if you can put that into your conversation in the next week, not going to give you all month, just the next week, to ask somebody why they really care. And especially people that you assume you know why they're in Toastmasters. I'm going to challenge you to ask them why. What are you doing here? Why? What can we help you with? And start feeding those desires. All right, so everybody knows why they're here. Second ingredient comes along. To own your club and your role in that club. To own it. Sometimes it takes officers, and I can say this because it happened to me as a VP of Ed a couple years ago. It took me about 10.5 months to really feel like I knew what was going on as VP Ed, right? And I was always kind of like, I'm not really the VP Ed yet. I'm still learning, and I'm new, and I'm sorry. And I was just constantly apologizing. And what I found works better is day one of my new role. I happen to have just become president of my club this year. Day one, I'm taking the reins this time. Day one, I'm the president. I'll figure this out. I'll ask somebody if I need help, of course, sure. I'm not going to do everything perfect. Best club ever isn't perfect club, right? But to take the reins and go ahead and own it. Own your role right now. I had this friend, Wendy, and she told me she went to this restaurant one time, and she goes in, and the hostess seats her, and she's sitting there, and she's kind of on her phone, and she's looking around, and the people aren't even bringing her water. She's just on her phone. She started talking, everybody else is eating, everyone else has drinks. You know, what's going on here? She's just kind of looking around, and finally, somebody comes over to her and says, "Can I help you, ma'am?" She goes, yeah, like, maybe I need like a menu? Want to bring me a menu? And the lady goes, "Ma'am, this is a buffet." Oh! So everything's already laid out, and I'm the one that's got to lift up, pick up, get up, walk over, and get what I want. Toastmasters is a buffet. They've got all this great stuff for speakers laid out. You want to be a speaker, you want to be a facilitator, you want to be a great communicator in interpersonal relationships. You go pick out anything you want. You say, I want that, I'm doing that, that's my focus. It's got all this stuff for leadership. It's got all this stuff for you want to be the VP of everything over the whole district. You want to really lead in your club. You want to check out social media and be the VP of PR. You want to work on that communication and enrolling people. Maybe you're in a business like me. You want to be VP of membership, enrolling them, inspiring them to take action. That's all there for you. It's a buffet. You get up and you go get it. And you create that culture in your club too. Pick something that you want to do and do it every single meeting. One of my Toastmaster friends, Eric Cronwall, if you guys know him, he says, I make sure on that sign-up sheet that I'm signed up for something every single meeting and at least one speaking spot. Every sign-up sheet that comes around, my name's on there. Create that culture. Do you have a role next meeting? Yes, I always have a role. I almost always have a role that I'm doing at Toastmasters. That's just the culture that we create. So for this next little section, I would love to have a volunteer who feels like they're ready to own their role. Yes, oh, Corey. Oh, wonderful. I guess we're Corey. Come on. Yeah. All right, Corey, ready to own your role?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Okay, great. So what is your role this coming week?
Cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon roll! Okay, good.
Is president.
President! Awesome! Wonderful! Good, I can cheat off you. Awesome.
That's what I was thinking.
So, Corey, tell us, like, some of the things that are on your list as a president that you're going to have to be doing.
I'm going to be doing making sure that we get our distinguished presidents next year.
Yeah.
Making sure that I work with the VP of Membership and VP of PR to make sure we get new members in, along with everybody in our club, and make sure to inspire people to come up with great goals for what they want to do for the year and to meet those goals, working with our VP of Education on that closely.
Is that your
That's
wife?
a few things. That's Pete.
Okay, great. Just checking.
I know. He is beautiful.
Yeah. We like it, guys. Okay, great. So there's a list of things we're going to do in our new roles, right? So Corey, now I want you to pick one that you are definitely committed to. This is you. I am the president, and I
Will be helping people reach their goals, their personal goals for the year.
Perfect. I am the president, and I help people reach their goals for the year. Okay? So Corey, I want to give you the stage here. Whoops. And I just want you to say that about 3 times, 5 times. Let's do 5 times. And every time you say it, I want your arms to get wider and wider. Okay?
Okay.
This is fun.
I'm Corey Berry, president of CSU Toastmasters, and I am here to help our members reach their goals.
Perfect. Just like that. One more time.
I'm Corey Berry, president of CSU Toastmasters, and I am here to help my members reach their goals.
Yes, again.
I'm Corey Berry, president of CSU Toastmasters. I'm here to help my members reach their goals.
Yeah! Keep going.
I'm Corey Berry, president of CSU Toastmasters. I am here to help my members reach their goals.
Okay, so what is this for you? You got a long list of things to keep track of, but when you introduce yourself to someone, whether you say this out loud or not, you're going to say it with that passion that Corey just had every single time. Not just in this room, but I mean every single time for the rest of the year. Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm the president of Noonshiners. I'm here to help you reach your goals. Okay. So what is this for you? So take a second, write down your list if you want. Pick one out that's the most important, the most powerful. It's really fun. Thank you. Who feels like they're a little closer to having the best club ever? Yes. Who, as a member of a team, so I happen to be the president, whatever role you have, are glad that someone else on the leadership team might be also having the same amount of energy as you. Isn't that nice? You have the whole team to pull the wagon and lead the charge and go for it, right? So if you want other people to be that inspired, start the train. Get up and get your food. It's a buffet. Let's do this. Just last week, I got one of the best phrases about this concept and how you can really inspire somebody else to step up and have the fire and own their space, man. Because every single person that gets up to give a speech, it's their stage, right? As soon as you get on this upper area of the room, it's yours, the room is yours. And especially at Toastmasters, you know, unlike the camps I used to work with, your eyes are all up here on me, right? I have you for a second. And I was working last weekend with someone who was more shy. They were more of an introvert. And I love working with introverts because they're usually very authentic. They're really good at being authentic. Unlike the more showy people, you know, they like put on a little show and dance and they start trying to entertain you to death so you don't see how they're really feeling on stage, nervous. But introverted people are really good at being authentic. They just usually be it really small. And it's just like having them, you know, open up and be more of themselves. Be who they are just a little bit bigger and wider. So we're doing the arms exercise that you could just saw Corey own in his space. And this one woman, she just, you know, smaller woman with little blonde hair, and her name was Charlotte. And she just, before our eyes, opened up, owned the stage, claimed her space. She did it. She did it. And I said to her afterwards, I said, Charlotte, what made you do that? How did you do that? So I can tell other people. You know, what happened for you? That was great. And she goes, well, you invited me. You invited me to do it. And I went, oh, that's what people are waiting for. When they're thinking that somebody's going to come take their order, they're just waiting to be invited. So that piece of the owning it culture, if it's your club, it's yours to invite people to do table topics their first meeting, right? To take on the officer role. How many people are officers because they were invited? Yeah, right? You were invited. I'm an officer because I was invited. I wasn't even thinking about doing it. And Mr. Null back there on the camera, Gordon, invited me. Said, I think you'd be great. I think you'd do a great job. I went, well, think about that. And here I am. All right, best club ever, third key. So important. I have seen this time and time again work on me, and yet this is my weakest one, my weakest link that I'm going to be working very hard at during my presidency of Toastmasters. And it is to acknowledge the behavior you want to see happen again, acknowledge it. I've heard this, I've known this for a long time, because actually I was a member of this church at one point, and I was so impressed by the hugeness of this church and the way people seem to love this church, like this very church. And I asked the lead pastor for a few minutes of his time. I said, Pastor Derry, you know, I got to know, what's your secret to all this leadership? I mean, this is amazing. And he looks like a happy leader. I mean, some leaders are like all stressed out, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a church, oh my gosh. You know, and he wasn't like that at all. He was like owning it and proud and happy and seemed to have lots of energy. And so I only had a few minutes with him, and he sat on his couch there. I was sitting on a chair over here, he's sitting on his couch, and he really thought about this for a minute or two. And just kept looking at me and thinking. I was like, did I ask the right question? Am I speaking English? But I just let him, you know, think. And he said, what in a volunteer organization, what you acknowledge gets repeated. What you acknowledge gets repeated. And there was such a good example of this in our club as well. Last year, we had a VP of PR who really owned it. He walked in day one, he owned his role, and he said, you know what? We give out something every month to recognize the noonshiner of the month. If they attend and if they take on roles and such, we give them this sash. And nobody wants to wear this sash. Look at this sash. Now, this sash is an upgrade from nothing, right? But it was kind of a joke, and certainly was not inspiring anybody to take any pictures of being Noonshiner of the Month. And Josh said, I want to give people a trophy, gosh darn it. I want to give them something they're proud of and take a picture of. So we said, okay, Josh, we're going to give people a trophy every single month and tell them we're happy that they participated and we're so glad that they're here. And Josh goes, no, that's too small. I don't want to give them a little trophy. I want to give them a big trophy. And so we said, okay, Josh, you want to give them like a big trophy, like this kind of trophy that says, you know, we're happy you were here. Thank you for taking on roles. You did great. You brought guests. You spoke. And Josh goes, no, this trophy is too small. This isn't going to make a picture, make a story. So guess what Josh had our club give out? This trophy! This is a 4-foot trophy that we use every single month. Look at this. You have to give, also when you get this trophy, you have to get the little red flag on the end of it so you can put it in your car and take it home because it sticks out. This is a 4-foot trophy that we give out every month. Even just walking up here to give this speech, I'm carrying this up. guess how many people stopped me saying, like, where's that trophy from? What did you get that for? Oh my gosh. This is for basically attendance. And participation and, going for it. This is acknowledgement. This is acknowledgement. We're happy you're here. We're happy you play full out when you come here. This is a great symbol of acknowledgement. Yeah, that's why we're doing it. We've got our own goals and leadership stuff, and then we're doing it for a thank you. So, if you could create a really cool thank you, think about that in your club. Like, what would be your version of this? Maybe it's not a huge trophy. Maybe it's one of those cute little, boxes of sweet tarts, and you give somebody a note that says, you're such a sweetheart. Or a roll of lifesavers, thank you, you're such a lifesaver. There's a million of them. I got some teacher friends, they think of a million of them. But I just wanted to take a second for you guys to think about the 2 ways that you have been thanked in the past that really meant something to you. And maybe they were normal, like a card or just somebody saying something. But think about what was it about that meant something to you. Just write down to yourself 2 ways that you've been thanked in the past. It's so funny how this works. I'm not as good at this one, at saying thank you. But man, those thank yous work on me. My roommate just sent me a text the other day that said, thank you for taking out the trash. I love it when you take out the trash, it's so nice. And I went, oh, let's take out the trash, man. Like, that's my job. I take out the trash. But oh my gosh, reinvigoration. That trash has not been more than half full all week. That thing is, I'm taking out that trash. Now it is my domain. I do the trash for my roommate. It's really amazing. What you acknowledge gets repeated. It really does. One of my best thank yous ever was I befriended, I guess, this girl. This was in high school. This foreign exchange student girl. She was from Korea and she didn't speak much English. I thought that was fascinating, so I hung out with her, and I guess she thought that I was helping bring her into the club. And she gave me this little kind of jewelry-sized box, and I opened it up and it was all these little paper stars, tiny little paper stars. And I was like, oh, those are cool. Where'd you get these, Clara? She's like, oh, I made them. She had rolled up each tiny little star, 100 of them, 200 of them, I don't know, and put them in this box for me. And that was like, oh, you spent that much time doing that for me? Oh my gosh. It really touched me. So what's touched you? What's mattered for you? Would you turn to your person beside you and just share how you've been thanked in the past that mattered to you? Wow, it's really interesting to watch the room when you ask people to share amongst themselves. The whole room really does change. And that was the warmest, most connected share that you guys have done yet today. Who felt all warm and connected sharing their thank yous? A little bit? Yeah, okay, good.
The one that really affected me was somebody came up to me about 10 years after I had taught a computer class to him and said that the way that I instructed the I unit to him helped him understand computers. The time was the big point there, 10 years later.
Yeah.
So it's not too late to say thank you to somebody.
Wow! Can I write that into my speech? It's not too late to say thank you. Have you guys ever had somebody touch you and it lasted for years? Yes, so it's not too late to say thank you. In fact, it could mean more because it's coming late. I think the basic value of acknowledgement is the fact that we need everybody. Just like we've been talking about, it's so nice to have the whole team working on this instead of one person trying to go it alone. And the same is true with speaking and inspiring other people. I'm inspiring to a certain set of people. I'm not inspiring to other people. I cannot reach everyone. So even if there's, let's say half of your club has the exact same message they were trying to get across. We need all of those people, not just one or two to be great. We need everybody to be great. This is kind of a triage, all hands on deck situation. We need these voices in the world, everybody from their own little angle to reach everyone else. We need you. We need your perspective. We need just your turn of phrase to get to that very last little nook or cranny of the room. We really need you, and acknowledgement says that. It doesn't say, hey, we're all great. It says, you're great. You matter. You're important. You're the one that stepped up. You did it. It's kind of the answer and the thing that's necessary when you present somebody with an opportunity like the buffet kind of feeling. You know, it's up to them to move and go get what they want. So when they do that, you got to be there thanking them. And I'm talking to myself right now because I'm the president of my club. And what I do is I thank people. That is half of my role. A full 50% of my role is I just say thank you. I say thank you. I'm going to be the one that says thank you this year. Acknowledgement is your third ingredient. That's it. Best club ever. Find out why. Create that culture. Own it. Own your club. Own your role from day one. And when you ask people to own something and they do it, thank them. Acknowledge them. Celebrate them. And you will have the best